Hello everybody, Insane Frame here and welcome back to another video. In the last video we did New Vegas with a little devil and that was interesting to say the least. We were walking around wearing our Prada. But today we're going to go back to Fallout 4 and we're going to ask the question, can you beat Fallout 4 with a deathclaw gauntlet? Now the deathclaw gauntlet is a pretty decent weapon, certainly nothing compared to its New Vegas counterpart, but still pretty decent in its own right. It is a medium speed weapon, which is always good, and whilst it's limited with its upgrades, we don't need anything beforehand to upgrade it, so that's a huge plus. However, getting the gauntlet, well, that's going to be a challenge in its own right, to say the least. We'll probably be focusing on a VATS build to punch through the enemy's block, and with all that out of the way, let's go over the rules quickly. We can only use the deathclaw gauntlet in battle. No glitches or exploits, no cheating or modding, and we're going to be playing on very hard difficulty. So with that, let's get on with the game. We start a new game and we make our character dashing as always. Voltec then call on us and we decide our stats. We go for 7 strength, 3 perception, 5 endurance, 1 charisma, 1 intelligence, 8 agility and 3 luck. A fairly agile and VATS focused melee build. We name ourselves Vega. Hope you all know the reference. Here we see our potato son, hello there, and we get to the vault where we're then frozen. We then get released, we lock the rad roaches out and get ourselves the Pip-Boy, allowing us to leave the vault once more. Once released, we make our way to the special book and we decide we want to up our agility. We also grab the Grown-At comic, upping our critical damage by 5% right off the bat. So this is a very excellent start. We see Trash Can Carla in a pile of trash, which is lovely, I guess. We press on and see some raiders and run like the wind as we are a target for them. But we do make it to Bunker Hill and we gather our bearing. After all that excitement, we manage to get a level up and we decide to go ahead and go for Aqua Boy, so water no longer gives us any radiation damage and we can breathe underwater, really opening up the map for us. We immediately start heading north and keep swimming and then continue on foot for a little while. We get to a corpse that's been terrorized, we pick up some items and begin the Devil's Due questline. We listen to the holotape and go inside the Museum of Witchcraft. We sneak around and we see a deathclaw and run like hell because we don't want to die. We get into the bathroom and we see a pristine deathclaw egg and we just see the big deathclaw and just no. We sneak away and get the hell out of Dodge. We go further north and come face to face with a deathclaw. However, it is not hostile, so we give the egg as we don't really have a choice here and we see the weapon we are looking for. So we grab the deathclaw gauntlet whilst also completing the quest. Very nice. We go to Trudy's and kill Wolfgang and Simone as they are bad people. And our next stop is Lexington, so we wander around for a bit. We slay many ghouls and get some decent loot, and with the loot we upgrade our deathclaw so it can deal more damage, which is excellent. We also have 2 level ups for our efforts and we decide to go for big league, so we do an extra 20% melee damage, which is a fantastic perk, and for our second level up we decide to go for a very powerful perk, which is Blitz. So when we use VATS, our melee range is increased by a very drastic amount, letting us close the gap a ludicrous amount. We also make our way to a cabin nearby and kill a few bloat flies and get a skill mag, allowing us to take 5% less melee damage, which is pretty good. After our skill mag, we explore around and begin clawing many Mr. Handy robots in a theme park, but we do get another level up from the mechanical menaces. We start the main story by going to the Park Street station and we pay a visit to the Triggermen. We take them out one by one and we manage to get to Dino and we wipe him out, putting him 6 feet under. One day, Dino, you'll have your moment, just not today. Nick Valentine needs our attention. We level up and we go for a rank in Armourer, ignoring the fact that I accidentally went for a rank in Blacksmith, but anyway, Valentine's been imprisoned by Skinny Malone, so we take out more Triggermen and we come face to face with Skinny Malone. We don't even speak and use VATS to take out 2 of the Triggermen goons, and Darla, well, she's just out as well. And Skinny, he actually does a significant amount of damage to us, but we do manage to put him down, and it's quite a close call. We meet Valentine outside and he's glad that we used our claw to kill many Triggermen and wishes to see us in his office in Diamond City. We go ahead and get to the entrance of Diamond City. The gate is already open. We manage to pickpocket Kellogg Cornflakes' key from the mayor. We let Piper continue arguing with him because why not? We also level up and go for Big Leagues rank 2, so we do 40% more damage with melee weapons and have a higher chance of disarming our opponents. We meet Nick at his office and we describe our case to him, and we quickly come to the conclusion that Kellogg Cornflakes is responsible. So we go to his house and we already have the keys, so we go ahead and go on in. We search around and find a super secret secret button under the desk that opens a super secret door. After looking around, Nick decides to call in a favour by whistling, so our favourite character, Dogmeat, the fluffiest of doggos, shows up. We show him the cigar so we can access Fort Hagen. However, we do our own thing and we upgrade our armour to be studded leather armour, improving our defences. We decide to then grind some levels and experience, so we go to the Gunners HQ in the Gunners Plaza down south. So we enter from the roof and we eliminate the hostile so we can avoid line of sight from down below. We still get our sneak attacks in and it's quite challenging, however we manage to get by relying on sneak attacks. We slip inside and upon entering we use a terminal to get a protector online and distract the turrets. We access a second terminal to disable the turrets and we also have 2 gunners in the room. We take them both out one by one and it's absolutely fantastic. We use guerrilla tactics of chipping away at our enemy's health and running back to heal and repeating the process. Our disarm does come in very handy as we can mitigate damage and letting us loot our opponent's weapons. We eventually get to a point where we can go toe to toe with multiple opponents and dispatch them with a little bit of difficulty, but that's a couple of more gunners dealt with. But once we're done, we get to a named soldier called Cruz and we decide to duke it out with him and we are the victor. We listen to his holotape and his superior is giving him a hard time, but we also get a key into the broadcast room. We open up the broadcast room with the key and we see the one running the operation called Captain Wes. We use Blitz to great effect and kill the soldier and do a similar thing to one of the turrets. Captain Wes is shown what for and how ruthless we can be as he gets a good whack until he is no longer doing fisticuffs with us. However, M. Bison can't have people like this roaming around. We have to be very thorough as it's our job to deal with them. We quickly level up and decide to go for Bloody Mess. Our damage is increased by 5%. Whilst not significant, it certainly is something. But we're not through yet. Oh no, we descend to the basement and we meet another gunner commander called Ryder. We kick his ass, which is good riddance as our superiors wouldn't want that character running around, and we also get a ton of experience. We begin making our way to Fort Hagen and leave Dogmeat behind as it's much faster this way. We destroy the forces in the local vicinity and we manage to gain a level up. We decide to go ahead and take rank 2 of Bloody Mess, granting 10% damage across the board, which is excellent. Fort Hagen's defences are quickly dispatched and taken care of and we head inside. The simps are pretty easy as we hit pretty hard and we can bulldoze our way through. However, we do have to be careful as the simps can deal a lot of damage to us. However, we get the upper hand and we raid the armory to annoy Kellogg Cornflakes. We also pick up a cover of covert ops, so we are harder to detect while sneaking. We get to Kellogg Cornflakes and show him we mean business by taking out his guards. We then run back from whence we came and we face Mr. Kellogg Cornflakes in the corridor. We manage to disarm him and get his pistol as seen here. We pick up his pistol and despite Kellogg Cornflakes being invisible, we manage to slice his arm off, ending his small-time villainy. We access Kellogg's terminal and find out Senor Potato has been kidnapped by the Institute, which is standard, I guess. Anyway, the Brotherhood of Steel show up and we decide to go back to Diamond City. We come back to see the children arguing and Piper thinks she knows us, but Nick comes up with a genius trick of using Kellogg Cornflakes cybernetics in the memory den in a town called Goodneighbor. On the way, we take out some raiders and we manage to level up yet again. We decide to get Action Boy, so we regenerate our action points 25% faster, allowing for more attacks in that. We head on over to Goodneighbor to see Dr. Amari with Nick in tow. We quickly get down to business and end up hooking ourselves up to the memory sequence by taking a seat in the lounger. We soon see Kellogg Cornflakes and his exchange with the Corsair. A person by the name of Brian Virgil, a former Institute scientist, is mentioned. It's our duty to seek him out in the glowing sea. Dr. Amari releases us and speaks to us and mentions Nick Valentine's upstairs. We speak to Nick and let him know that we are going to head out on our own. We decide to head to the glowing sea as failure is not an option in this case. We defeat many feral ghouls, it's quite a lot of fun, and then we get outside Virgil's cave. The deathclaw, well, it's kind of exactly what it says on the tin as we keep meeting death from its claws. Now, we could just run into Virgil's cave, but it feels kind of cheap and dishonest to the run, so we kind of need to beat it. We need to level up some more before we can face it. So we go ahead and visit the Old North Church and kill some ghouls to get into the basement and input a super secret code, Railroad. We jump into a surprise meeting with the Railroad. We have Desdemona ask some questions, but once the meeting concludes, we talk to Deacon and he has a side job for us. We level up and decide to go for +1 charisma, making a total of 2 charisma, and we meet Deacon in the field and get to work. We meet up with a informant called Ricky who says the base is crawling with Institute forces. We talk to Deacon and we use the tunnel to get inside the base. We face a few simps, it's pretty trivial as we do decent damage, and once we emerge from the pipe, the former railroad HQ is in front of us. We clear more simps to eventually get to the vault and we grab the Carrington prototype. We also get the deliverer, but we decide to throw it in the bin as we are on a mission and we have our deathclaw gauntlet. We get to the lift and mop up more Institute forces and we press Deacon for information. He insults us, so we strike him down like the minion he is. Once back at the railroad, Deacon is lying for us, which is good. He knows his place, and we get to join the railroad. We go ahead and go for the codename Whisperer, but once we join up, we are granted access to the HQ and hand over the prototype, so mission complete, I guess. We go back to slaying more raiders in the Museum of Freedom. We pretty much one-shot them all, and we meet Preston and co, but ignore them to get the perception bobblehead. Grant him +1 perception, making a total of 4 perception. We also level up and we go for a simple +1 charisma, ready to spec into Lone Wanderer. We wander into Hubris Comics and we kill a bunch of ghouls which try to swarm us. We level up and we decide to go for Lone Wanderer rank 1. So without a companion, we take 15% less damage and increase our carry weight by 50. We grab the Silver Shroud materials and head on over to Goodneighbor to see Ken Connolly. A huge fan of the Silver Shroud, and since we already have everything we need, we hand it on over to Ken. He has an idea for us to do justice and we just go along with it. So we kill people in the streets and leave a calling card on them, and after a few kills we speak to Whitechapel Charlie who gives us information on how to progress the storyline. We also get a side quest to deal with some triggermen in some warehouses, so we manage to go to each warehouse, take out the triggermen no problem, easy peasy. We report back to Whitechapel Charlie to get a reward and some XP, and we continue with the Silver Shroud questline. We break into a raider hideout, killing everyone inside, and then we find Kendra and do what we do best. Once the calling card has been placed, we see Hancock revealing our secret identity and gets sent to deal with some raiders, and we just keep at it because XP is still XP. We pay a visit to Smiling Kate, we show her what for, she's no longer a problem, and our squad falls piece by piece, which is a brilliant. Also we chase Norby, who he just doesn't get it, he just doesn't belong in this line of work, so we just need to find this rival of ours. After a few moments we locate this person's lair, which is an abandoned hospital. We get to assassinating raiders and taking them out. We level up from the process and we decide to go for Big Leagues rank 3, so we gain 60% more damage in melee and a greater chance to disarm our opponent. We make our entrance and don't give this rival of ours a chance, and we two-shot him with a critical sneak attack. We proceed to beat his lieutenant Avery and we make her bite the dust. The henchmen also meet their deaths, but unfortunately we see Ken also make his demise, which is unfortunate because he would have been an excellent person to assist us. However, we speak to Hancock and finish the questline for very decent XP. With our level ups, we decide to take another crack at the deathclaw, and this time it goes much better. We use the stealth boy and get a sneak attack for some early damage. We wear down the deathclaw with VATS, which is risky, but we mainly do the old hit and run, getting out immediately after using VATS. It is high risk, high reward, but we eventually manage to kill the deathclaw, and just to be sure, we chop off its leg so it can't chase us, even if it's dead, because no. Anyway, we get inside Virgil's cave and talk to Virgil and ask him how do we get into the Institute. Virgil replies that we need to test our metal against an Institute Corsair, so that's what we're going to have to do. So we make way for Green Tech Genetics and we are faced with a very familiar foe. We battle through with a moderate level of resistance, and the gunners do a lot of damage to us, making us use a lot of healing items to see us through. It's not too bad, we do manage it, and then we get face to face with the Corsair. We disarm him and keep attacking, making a fool out of him. We also uppercut him up some stairs into a Fat Man launcher, which is as hilarious as it sounds. It looks kind of cool. We grab the Corsair chip and we level up from the experience. We decide to go for awareness perk rank 2, so we get an extra 5% hit chance and damage boost, which will help that little bit more, like bloody mess. We head on over to Railroad HQ and get Desdemona to give us permission to decode the Corsair chip, which is simply terrific. We get the codes, report back to Virgil, who gives us the plans to build the teleporter. Desdemona gives the go-ahead to build them and assigns Tinker Tom to help us. We clear out an area, build the teleporter, and once the teleporter is built, Desdemona goes on a spiel about going undercover, and we show her we are not amused and won't compromise our objective for her own agenda, much to her dismay of course. We get teleported into the Institute, and once inside we descend the lift. As we descend, we see the greatest evil in all of Fallout, the child synth. Of course, Senor Potato shows responsibility and deactivates him, making a very close call. Senor Potato says he's the Institute leader, and we eagerly join. We meet the division heads, all specialising in their chosen fields, which is fair enough. We report back to Senor Potato and we have a mission assigned to us. We have to get a rogue synth and repurpose it, however means necessary. But we level up from all the running around and decide to get the Lone Wanderer rank 2, so we take 30% less damage and increase our carry rate by 100, so we're in good shape. We meet up with the Corsair and get to it. The raids aren't too bad, and we can utilise Aquaboy to swim freely and kill many raiders in our path, but we get to the main ship and kill many raiders and come face to face with Gabriel. We speak with him and throw him off guard by using the recall code and taking out his 2 guards, no problem. Very simple. Senor Potato says a job well done and gives us a small apartment in the Institute, which is greatly appreciated. Senor Potato then tells us we have a pressing issue and that we have to go to Bunker Hill. We meet up with the Corsair, and rather than go the normal route, we just back up a bit and go the opposite way, cutting all the forces out and gaining access to the bunker, which is awesome. Once inside, we rush past everyone and get to the Simps and immediately use the recall codes, ignoring their pleads as they have gone against protocol on all accounts, which will not do. We vacate the battlefield and decide to meet Father atop the CIT ruins and have a heart-to-heart. He admits he unfroze us and let us roam the wasteland out of curiosity. We share our paternal feelings in response, and he invites us to the next board meeting. Very nice. We meet everyone in the meeting and we look extremely out of place, but Father states he needs to activate the reactor, and also he makes his terminal illness known, whilst also naming us as his successor, which is too good to be true. We speak to him after the meeting. He assigns us to go to the mass fusion building with Alfie Fillmore in tow. We head to the relay platform. We get a prompt saying the Brotherhood of Steel would be most displeased with us and see us as enemies. However, we just go right ahead. Once teleported into the mass fusion building, we deal with the Brotherhood forces atop of the building, and we then take them down a peg with a couple of swings of our gauntlet. We get to the elevator and begin descending. We take cover as best we can to try and avoid getting shot until the lift is sabotaged. We rapidly make our move to flip the switch and get the lift started again and deal with the stragglers before we move on. But we get into the main lobby, we leave everyone to it, and we get to the second lift. Then we stand in front of the reactor and speak to Ali Fillmore. We decide to simply grab the beryllium agitator, and the rads are quite dangerous, but we don't really mind and quickly get taken care of, and then we heal up. However, the security begins acting up and we have to face a sentry bot, so we stay inside the rad scrubber chamber and take some cheeky pop shots here and there, but we swipe at it for long enough until it explodes. We go into the Securitron room and we see a terminal. We deactivate the security turrets, and 2 Assaultrons decide to join in the fray, so we use our VATS to land some hits on them until they're out of commission whilst avoiding their death lasers. It does prove quite challenging, but still fairly decent, and we take the victory. We rush through the lobby and get outside, and we immediately teleport back to the Institute. Once there, we head to Advanced Systems and hand over the beryllium agitator. We also get a level up for our troubles and decide to go for Ninja, so our melee sneak attack still ×4 damage, which is pretty good. We have to do a couple of odd jobs, so we kill some gunners that are acting as bodyguards and go inside a house to convince a guy to leave a room. It actually goes fairly well, and we succeed on our charisma check, which is excellent, and manage to make the target willingly go with us. This is an absolute first. Senor Potato then allows us to make a speech, which is wonderful, and it's very villainous indeed. We have to go to Diamond City Radio to solve a simple puzzle, which is super easy. We come on back and install the beryllium agitator in the reactor and have a moment with Father. He allows us to chair the next meeting, which is most excellent indeed. Once at the next meeting, everyone brings us up to speed and says that we're going to wage war with the Brotherhood of Steel, which is the best thing we've ever heard, as M. Bison doesn't need to use his forces here. Once the meeting concludes, we speak to Senor Potato and he wants us to kill the railroad, which is fantastic news, so we get right on it. We enter the North Church and decide to sneak attack Glory, as she's the only one who poses a threat to us. Once our sneak attack and haymaker is done, she's out to the fight, and we spread the chaos to all the other members, which is hilarious. hilarious, as they can't put up a fight against us. Once we kill every last one of them through the carnage, we then do the ultimate defacing, and we make a mockery of them by making them look absolutely ridiculous. It's just too perfect, ladies and gentlemen. Senor Potato says it's a job well done, but it's time to take the fight to the Brotherhood of Steel. So we meet Dr. Lee in Advanced Systems, and she directs us to one of her lab assistants called Rosalind. She has the idea to use Liberty Prime against the Pridwin, which is definitely a good strategy, so we can wipe out the airship and Liberty Prime at the same time. We also have our final level up and go for Ninja Rank 2, so our melee sneak attacks do ×5 damage, which is really good. It is time to step on the teleporter and do our final mission. We spawn outside in the dark and we immediately begin sneaking on inside. Once there, we begin killing all the occupants with little resistance, which is fantastic. Once the ground has been dealt with, we go upstairs and see a vertibird take off. It might be a problem. We keep to cover and manage to get into a smaller room, taking out an initiate, and begin duking it out with a knight. We successfully get a decent hit on him and run like hell as his fusion core explodes. We quickly come back and take the knight out once he gets out of his power armor. We manage to take out a signal dampener so the Institute forces can begin to pour in and give us fire support. The vertibird is shot down thanks to the Institute forces, and we take out another knight and another signal dampener, allowing more forces to come in. We then decide to hit the front gate and make a dent in the defences by taking a couple of knights armed with Gatling lasers and miniguns, thanks to disarming them and letting our forces do decent damage to them. With some heavy support taken out, we get the final dampener and let the forces come on in. We then have our last obstacle, which is that damn Prospector Ingram. We let our forces fire at will against her and weaken her until we manage to get in and end her life successfully, the weakling. It's then simply defending the synth, hacking Liberty Prime, and we easily manage this thanks to Blitz and Vats, as scribes keep trying to blast us, and it's absolutely useless. Anyway, with the hacking completed, we are told to vacate the area and we see the Pridwin get hit with a laser. We get teleported out to a front row seat, and then we have another visit to Senor Potato, who hands control of the Institute to us, ending the run, answering the question, can you beat Ball Out Ball with a deathclaw gauntlet? And the answer is yes. Yes, you can. Well, that was a nice change, working for the Institute and having a nice weapon, especially early on. It was really touch and go for a while until I remembered the quest. It was really cool, but it was pretty straightforward when we got the gauntlet. And it's always nice having a decent weapon. But unfortunately, I do have good news and bad news. The good news is for the next video, we'll be tackling Fallout 4 as a mechanist, which is going to be really interesting. There won't be any robot assistance or anything like that. It'll just be a straight up using the weapons and armor, so it'll be brilliant. However, the bad news is there won't be a video next week, as I'm going to be going abroad to meet some very, very lovely friends of mine who are absolute gems and wonderful people. So I do apologise that there won't be a video next week. However, I do hope you're all doing well, you're having a great time, and please look after yourselves as you're all amazing and wonderful. Please have a great day, a most fortuitous time, and I wish you all the best. Take care. This is Insane Frame signing off, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye for now.